Hello, everybody. Welcome to CMT. It's Chronic Mind Therapy. We're trying to figure it out. I'm Travis, and
This is Lil. Yo, 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 yo.
It's Chris.
it is what it is. We're gonna see if we can't get into some conversations worth conversating about, and what I mean, find a
Talk
topic worth
real.
listening to with that.
None of that squeal talk.
Anyways, motherfuckers in Arizona so bored they be licking frogs out there. Them motherfuckers in the national parks licking toads and hallucinating. You said you from around Arizona. You been down there. You ever licked a frog, bro?
Licking
Um,
frogs. Wait, hold on. Niggas is licking frogs.
Yeah, dude. They licking toads and hallucinating. Like when I think a toad you can lick to hallucinate, I don't think America. You know what I'm saying? That's like some in the Amazon. There's frogs that'll make you trip shit, or like maybe South Africa or something. But I don't know. Frogs in
Yo,
America that can
niggas,
get you lifted.
yeah,
I didn't know that was a thing.
yeah. Like, yeah, hold on, real fast.
down to
No, no,
China?
you brought that frog, bro? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You trying to hit this frog,
How
bro?
much
Come
I
on, bro.
ate
Hit
of
the
the
frog one time.
Right.
Tell a
Hey
girl,
man,
what's wrong with you, baby? I'm going
yo,
to that.
what do frog lickers do when COVID pops off? Do I gotta bring 3 frogs because you can't lick mine, or what are we doing? You know what
Oh
I'm saying?
hell no! Yeah, yeah. You better find your own frog, homie.
Hell no. Yeah,
And
you
it's that
definitely not
you
taking
know.
the frog. Get out of here with that. 6 feet.
No, no. Hold on. It's that new stuff. No, it's called RSV, right, bro? The dude, it was some dude was talking to me. He was like, "Yeah, man, you gotta." They bringing masks back. They got that RSV now. I'm like, what? Did you just say RIP? I was like, no, nigga, I'm alive. I'm not dying.
Jesus. Uh, yeah. Anyway, yeah. Apparently they licking frogs in fucking Arizona. I don't know. I don't know. When I drove through Arizona, it
Looking
was
for
dead as fuck. You said you spent some time in Arizona, didn't you, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, I've drove through a couple times. I've been down through that area a couple different times. But yeah, like you said, there's really not much, man. Tumbleweeds are a real thing for
Facts.
those people that have never been down south and down around that area. Tumbleweeds are definitely a real thing, and you see a lot of them.
Yeah.
And
it,
Tumbleweeds.
that's about
buddy.
land and tumbleweeds,
Yeah.
bro.
And don't do meth billboards. That's what
Oh,
I saw
word.
on my drive through.
Out it,
Don't.
buddy.
But yo, motherfuckers online in an auction paid over $200,000 for Steve Jobs' old sandals. They just some regular ass Jesus pieces. Those bitches beat up too.
Hold on. I thought you was just about to say he paid 200,000 to lick a toad. I was about to be like, are you
No.
fucking serious?
At least you get something fucking useful out of that. Maybe you see Jesus, but them old beat up fucking sandals, what are you gonna do with them?
Bro,
Wait,
he's got his show
hold on.
print
I gotta see.
stuck in his pants.
Wait. I gotta see what these sandals look like because I'm the fashion type guy. I might pay.
Them shits is
Oh
beat up old
hell
fucking
no!
turds, bro.
Oh, them Birkins. Oh, that's Birkins. Them old veteran Birkins though.
Two hundred and
Somebody was
thirty
working them.
thousand.
Yeah, not worth it.
They
Not
ain't
worth
that
it.
nice. They ain't nice at all, in my opinion. Them shits fucking old foot, smelly, sweat ass. I don't even know.
So somebody probably bought those. It was some probably weirdo, some dude that's in his mama's basement on the computer all day, heavy set, mouth breather. You know what I mean? And he was
Hey,
like,
Mouth
"Man, you
breathing.
gotta smell his feet, bro."
what's fucked up though? What's fucked up is though, heavy set mouth breather in mama's basement got 230,000 to drop. What's he doing that we ain't? You got that to drop on
God,
sandals in your mama's basement, mouth
Word,
breathing?
I ain't even
word.
gonna perk. I ain't even gonna
Right.
perk. A pair of shoes that's worth $5,000 right now.
Really?
Hey, I've seen
Five
people do
thousand
better
dollars right
jumping out of his basement.
Hey,
and I'm broke as hell. Listen, my car fucked up, transmission broke, but I got a pair of shoes that's worth $5,000.
what
You
are
hear
they?
that? You hear that? They Travis Scott Jordans, Aero, the first retros.
Oh
Oh God,
shit! Yeah, the only thing I got worth that much is the setup that I'm on right now. My car. I only paid $2 grand for my
he
fucking car. My computer's worth
he
more than my
doing
fucking
better than
car.
us. He doing
Hey,
better
you
than
know what I
us.
have worth 5K in my house? My hopes and inspiration. That's about it.
Hey.
Yeah.
I was watching this battle the other day, and like battle rapping and shit. And dude was like, they were betting $1,000 on it. Winner gets $1,000, right? And dude was like, we were supposed to battle for 5,000. He called up the promoter and said, hey, $5,000, that's life changing
Too
money. I don't
much,
know if I
yeah.
can do that. And he's like, dude, if $5,000 is life changing, you need to change your fucking life. And I was like,
All right,
I don't know.
all right.
In my situation, $5,000 change a lot right now. I'm just saying.
I mean, it would put me
I
on the road making more money for sure.
Facts. I just get a reliable
get
partner, take that better job, and not have to
shit.
sweat it.
Somebody tell me right
No,
now, let's bet. Let's bet. How much you putting on it? Shit, I ain't putting nothing on it.
Yo, my PC setup versus your fucking Travis Scott Jordans on one go of rock paper scissors.
Whoa.
No, yeah. And hey, y'all disqualified because y'all didn't play right there. So yeah, y'all seen that.
Yeah.
Everybody seen
You
that.
lose.
He owed
Hey,
me.
hey, bring that
He
computer
owed
on
me.
Wednesday when you come to work, dog. It better be grocery bagged up.
Hey,
Tower
you
it
know what's
all.
crazy? Hold on, you know what's crazy? Chris was the first person to introduce me to what a real computer was.
For
When I first
real?
met him, I bought a gaming PC off of him. It was an Alienware laptop. It was
Right.
worth hella money, and he gave it to me for cheap. And I gave him like a couple $100, but you know what I mean. I bullshitted because we was working and shit, so you know what I mean. But
Right.
anyway, he was the first person to ever introduce me to that, and it was like one of the best computers, and I didn't even know what the fuck I had.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? And now that I want to get another PC, it's like, damn, I wish I fucking had that computer still.
That Alienware laptop was legit, bro. It had the RGB on the Alien logo on the outside. You flipped it up, it was all black, bro. The fucking keyboard was RGB, bro. I
Yeah,
could literally fucking. I was playing like Left 4 Dead on Steam and stuff
yeah.
like
The
that with
graphic card.
a
That's
PlayStation
what
controller.
I got it looked at. When they looked into it, they told me they was like, bro, your graphic card in here is nice as fuck. It was like this computer is worth at least $1,200, and this was what like 4 or 5 years ago, Chris.
Hey, it's been a minute, bro.
Damn.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not like hella tech savvy, like when it comes to like computers and shit like that. Like mine got put together and I figured out what I could do on it and shit like that. But I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm not hella
Yeah.
in-depth knowledgeable about this shit. I put it together and it runs, but that's about the extent of it. I know where I plug shit in and I know how to unplug it, move it, and plug it back in.
But you learn though. You
Right,
learn. That's
right.
what.
I put a lot of time into fucking figuring out what I could do on it. But if something goes
Yeah.
wrong with it, that's fucking raps. I'm gonna have to call somebody in and pay the big bucks.
And then everybody else now, like nowadays, everybody is switching to PC gaming.
Right.
Everybody is going to PC gaming. I feel left out, and I want to stay. You know what I mean?
Well,
I
that's
want to stay
because
playing.
if you have a good enough graphics card with enough RAM, with a big enough hard drive pushing what you got to push, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
You're running at 260, 280 frames while everybody else on consoles, I mean, PS5 is running at 120, you know what I mean, frames
yeah,
per second. But PS4,
killing shit.
Xbox
Big P.
One, they're only running max at 60 frames per second. So the difference is astronomical.
Right. The only thing, like some of the games I played when I was playing on Xbox and shit, people would always say, "Oh, people on console, they got aim assist. They ain't actually good. They're trash. All they do is use melee weapons and this and that and this and that." So once
Bro,
I got the PC set up together and shit, I
you can mod
refuse.
all of
I
that.
do.
You
I
can
do
mod
not
all of
use.
that.
I do not use keyboard and mouse. I will not. I have the PC so I can run at their speed, so I can get in their
Put
lobbies,
your
and I
controller. Put your
specifically play
controller.
controller. So when I shit on a motherfucker, just know those skills came from the Xbox, and now I'm on the same page. Controller gang for life. Boy, I'll never run fucking keyboard and mouse specifically for the disrespect I got for having a console my whole life because I didn't have $5,000 I could go at a computer because I ain't mouth breathing in mama's basement. So now I'm getting disrespected because what? I spend money on my daughter instead of spending money on a fucking computer. If I didn't get given this one, I wouldn't have it. You know what I'm saying? It was what a motherfucking
Yeah,
Christmas
you
present from
appreciate
some
what you
wild
got.
shit. Yeah. And so now I'm in your fucking lobbies. You still talking shit for some reason. Oh, you fucking cheating. You got hacked. No, you just suck. And now I'm running at the same speed and you can't fucking handle it.
Well, to be honest, a lot of people don't even realize when you first like load up a Call of Duty game, it has its default settings. You know what I mean? As soon as you load up the game, before you change anything, it has default settings, and the default sensitivity, it does have aim assist.
Right.
But once you get over a certain threshold on the sensitivity, on the aiming up and down and the vertical,
it takes it off.
It cancels out the
Yeah. When you
saying
first
it
get into
cancels
Call
out.
of Duty, like you say, you play 5 games and it reads off how you play. And that's what it goes off to. It goes on to the settings of how you play the game in those couple of games. And that's how it sets you off as. But people can, like you said, still go in there and add those. That's an option for those.
Right. But see
But
that's my thing. You want to be like, oh, aim assist this, you have aim assist that. Yes. But my controller, I move the joystick. You can turn the sensitivity up, but with a mouse, that's equivalent to me on a controller trying to fucking get at you with my rifle, and you're basically using a fucking Wii controller. Bang, 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 point and click. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you can aim assist all you want, but your reaction time and crosshairs on my body is a fucking second faster than I can get to you with the high sensitivity rotation. So yeah, if I get to you and it helps me lock on a little bit while I'm fucking spraying, you already got 4 shots off at my fucking face, even up.
See, but
Bite the
you
dirt,
won't
you
have that
suck.
problem
That's
on
all there is to
PC.
it.
You'll be loaded in faster. So even if that was, you will have a faster catch on him. So you've seen him before he's seen you, type of deal. And then on top of that, with the PC, it's different shit. It lags because of the PC, because you could do certain shit on PC that you can't do on console. Like you could shoot through certain materials and do certain shit on PC that you can't do on console, and it crashes the lobby.
But
And that's why they've been trying to separate them. But
yeah.
it on PC, if you can use the mouse and the keyboard, you're a bad motherfucker.
Right.
I give you that.
Right.
You got to be concentrated, focused, and you have to have a 9 to 5 to be right at that computer all day.
And to
That's
be
your
fair,
life.
to be fair and play devil's advocate, the console and controllers can do certain things that the PC can't. Like running on keyboard, you run it left or right or back or forward, kind of at an angle. They can't strafe at that fucking wild angle, you know what I'm saying? Hoop, up this way and shit. It's one of these. Hoop, 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 hoop. And on controller, you're like, hoop, because you got all that angle. They have up and left, so they can get one of those, kind of, but not necessarily, you know, all the degrees you got with that fucking 360 joystick. But, you know, it evens out. That's what I don't get. If you want to actually be unbiased and have that conversation, yes, the PC does things better, and the controller does have slight aim assist and shit. But the benefits you get and the benefits that I'm given and the slight controller benefits of, you know, a little bit more angles and shit, it evens out. So if you die, you die. Shut the fuck up and get good, nerd.
Fact. That's what I be on. And like I was telling him earlier, I'm a default character when it comes to Call of Duty. I don't change the settings. I don't know how to do none of that, because back when Call of Duty was original, it wasn't none of that aim assist. It wasn't none of all of that sensitivity. It was just regularly third person. I mean, not third person, first person. You know what I mean? Gunplay, and that's what I'm used to. So I only got used to this changing of this shit from now modern day, and it's like it's sad that they even got this shit. I got it's 7, 8-year-old kids that's fucking mopping me on fucking Call of Duty. Like, and I know I'm not a scrub.
Right. So what you got going on over there, Chris? Word is you wanted to have a chat about hell.
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, what's going on with
Ooh,
Tyreek?
my boy.
So, Cheetah, a boy's a dog, man. Let me tell you. So, basically, I just wanted to run down through some quick stats real quick. You know what I mean? So he started playing in 2016. He only played 16 games that year. Had 61 receptions, 593 yards, 6 touchdowns, which seems like a pretty decent run up for your first year, in the league. You know what I
Right,
As a
mean?
getting
Like,
getting a
rookie,
feel for it and
as a
shit.
rookie, hell yeah, that's amazing.
you,
As a rookie,
you slid in there and did your thing. So, year two, 2017, he only played 15 games that year. But he did have 75 receptions. And guess how many yards this man went for? Second year in.
Second year in.
1,183 yards, bro.
man,
Okay.
Boy
Tyreek
was
is
running
one of the
all over the
nicest
field.
receivers. I promise you. I
He
respect
ran
him.
it for 7 touchdowns that year. 2018. Now, keep in mind, this is all with the Kansas City Chiefs.
So he running
2018,
back or he receiver? He's running back?
He a receiver.
he's a wide receiver.
Oh, word.
Um, he had he played 16 games that year, just like his first year, 2018, and he had 87 receptions that year, and had 1,500 yards
How many
for
touchdowns did he have that
12
year?
12 touchdowns, bro.
Man, listen, my man, bro. Only reason I have beef with Tyreek Hill is because we was at the AFC Championship for the first fucking time in God knows how long. Cleveland made they bum asses up there. We was winning too. We was winning. We was down. No. They was trying to get to field goal range to kick the field goal to take the lead. Tyreek
With
Hill caught a deep pass at the last fucking second. It was like fourth down, a sideline pass, caught it, fell in, and they counted it in, and they
yeah,
let it go. Fucking
One of
kicked
them
the
it
field
wasn't
Randall
even
goal.
Ellis ones.
talk about that.
Man, kicked us out the AFC champion. That was like I think that was Baker Mayfield's rookie year.
That was our
Yeah,
first time being in the playoffs since way back when, bro.
yeah. That was before. That was the AFC champion. Not no. I'm tripping. That was the playoffs or something. I can't remember exactly what game it is, but it knocked us out. Bro, I was salty as hell.
It might have been the AFC. You might be right. I might be tripping.
No,
I
no, no,
can't
no.
remember.
I'm tripping because Kansas is not. No, they is in the AFC, but they in the AFC like South or something. I don't know. Anyway, that's the only reason why I have my despite. But he's a nice receiver. I like him as a player, and like I shouts out to him. I respect him. He a
Right.
I
go
mean,
getter.
his thing on his YouTube channel, he does some stuff with destroying. He's a kicker that's trying to make it into the NFL, and he's actually really
I
good. He
watched
be punting
Destroying.
like,
I
yeah,
watched
bro.
Destroying. I like the heads up drills, like when he just shows up to a city and has people come out and he's like, "Who are DBs? Who are receivers?" and makes them go fucking heads up for a cash
Yeah,
prize. That
uh,
shit's fire. I've watched
that's
quite a few
cool
of
as
them
hell.
shits.
Another thing Miami said whenever, like with him transitioning, they said they love him as a player and as like a person because like he's not cocky, he's humble. Like even though he don't go for all the or get all the catches, he 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 takes pride in even running the plays to get people catches. You know what I mean?
Right. That's
Like he don't have a
what.
problem with not getting the catches. He'll run plays to get somebody else the catch or the pass or you know what I mean. He had no problem fitting in with the team, and the Miami Dolphins team was saying that, and I thought that was cool. Like it made me look at him totally different.
That's what. That's what.
Well,
I got the stats pulled up right here, and you was on 2018. That boy hit 12 touchdowns. In 2020, he hit fucking 15, but like on touchdowns on the year. But as the stats go up, like into 2022, he moved to Miami. You know what I'm saying? And you were gonna say is that you think that's a good decision career wise. I mean, to be
Yeah.
fair, overall yards wise, he's at 1460 on Miami, which is more than any that he's had in Kansas City in a single year. You know what I'm saying? but he
because
also
he's
he
the go-to
also
star.
right. He went from 15 touchdowns in the following years to 9, and then to 6. But
Because he split.
he went from 87 receptions to 111. So just from looking at the stats, it gives me the vibe that, yeah, you're that deep man we can throw the ball to and make the touchdowns. But as you get older in your career and we know we can rely on you, he's not getting as many touchdowns, but he's getting more receptions because you're reliable. We know we can
Playing
count
as a
on
team,
you. So instead of
team
those
player.
long bombs into the touchdown zone, we know we can count on you on that 3rd and 5. So
Yeah,
instead of
like
banging all those touchdowns, you getting those 7 yards that make a game winnable. You know what I'm saying?
that's what I was saying. That's what they was explaining. They was telling people he was humble and he was like he don't have a problem running those routes where he don't
Right.
get the ball or the possession. Somebody else could because him and Waddle splits it. And
Right.
like you said, his stats half fall back. But guess what? Don't think he's still not a threat.
Right.
Don't think because
Well,
if you sleep on him, oh, yeah, he can run all over you.
Oh, he's
But
got the routes. He's got his out routes. Dude's so quick on the cuts that it's just, and his hezzies are insane. Like
and his
he,
hands got glue in them.
but
Like he
moving,
don't drop
like
nothing.
yeah. And that's
It's
what people
modern day.
like a lot of people that watch, you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, are you the touchdown scorer? Are you the touchdown scorer? Like, because they only care about did you make points? But realistically, when it comes down to a team based sport where you know you need to rely on everybody and everybody has to do their job, yeah, his touchdowns on the year cut in half, but his receptions doubled, and he's got more yards than any season he's ever had.
Exactly.
So you might not be that star that's in the end zone, but you're that motherfucker when we need that 7 or we lose the game. It's
Team
going to
player.
you, and we know we can count on you for those yards.
You're a
You know
team
what I'm
player.
saying?
Yeah, you play for
Exactly.
the team.
So, like,
That's all that
yeah,
counts.
he might not be glitz and glamour, the man in the end zone, like he was a couple years ago in Kansas City, but he's got more yards than he's ever had, and he's on a team that knows they can count on him for it like that. And obviously, they are counting on him because his fucking yardage speaks for itself. You know what I'm saying?
His stats speak still.
Right,
Like, you
right.
know what I mean? But
So let me ask you guys this. If you guys were in, say, Tyreek Hill's position, would you have made that change? And the reason why I asked that is because Kansas City, they got Pat Mahomes. They got Kelsey. You know what I mean? They have an amazing offensive line. They have amazing defense. Like they're an
well,
overall solid squad, a Super Bowl contender. You know what I mean? Like, and they lost when Tyreek was at Kansas. He literally completed the whole circle. Like, and I mean, I've watched a couple games on him this year. Why he's played on the Dolphins, and I mean, he seems like a decent fit. He is getting a lot of passes, but I don't know if I would have made that transition just because. I mean, maybe in like the long run, the Dolphins might be a playoff contender or like a Super Bowl contender. You know what I mean? But that's yet to be seen. So I mean, what do you guys think about that?
how I feel about it, well, Tyreek is a good receiver. No matter what, going to be, always going to be. He's making money, making noise, and he's still playing the game like he really loves it still. So, you know what I mean? That is a plus. He's been with the Chiefs for a minute. I feel the Chiefs wasn't probably paying him good, and his contract was up, I think. So, you know what I mean? He was a free agent at that. And I think what happened was Miami offered him something different. And Tyreek just was trying to, you know what I mean? He's young still, so he's still trying to venture. Who wouldn't want to play for Miami and live down, well, not even live down there. You play for Miami, get a nice chunk of change, beautiful weather, beautiful scenery. You know what I mean? It's
Beautiful
amazing down
weather.
there. So, you know what I mean? His age to live in that and to play for their team, like, you know what I mean? That was probably enough. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he's a good receiver now. Like, he still works and do what he got to do, but he's not even pressed about not getting his stats up or keeping his stats. You feel what I'm saying? He's a team player, and that's all I'm
Right.
saying. I would
And
do
that's
it for
what,
sure.
like, playing off of what Jamil's saying, like, he's a team player, and Like, to be honest, you're like Kansas City, they have so and so and so and so and this guy and that guy and this guy. Like, for lack of a better analogy, like, how bright can you shine when you're in a cluster of stars? You know what I'm saying? You go to that team that's struggling and you're their workhorse that everyone knows they can count on, and you the one doing the legwork. Now you the superstar in Miami. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
They ain't got
that
nobody
too.
like that, and I'm the motherfucker that carries the weight. I'm the reason we contend. Over there, there's 5 different motherfuckers. The quarterback's great. They got a running back. You know, like you were just saying, you were listing off motherfuckers that were actually valid to step onto a team that might be a contender in the future and do the legwork now while they build, you know what I'm saying? While they build a team around you because they know they can count on you, instead of being another man on the squad in Kansas, you're the workhorse in Miami and we know we can count on you. We're going to build to your strengths so that we can move as a unit like you, with you leading the fucking charge. You know what I'm saying? And now you shine fucking 1,000 times harder. Not to mention, going from 2020, 15 touchdowns on the year and 1,200 yards received, to Miami, he could ask
Yeah,
for, he could
listen,
ask
they
for
probably gave him
whatever he wants. You see those
exactly.
stats, and
They
now I'm
probably
in
came to him with
Miami.
a nice chunk of change.
That's
You
what I'm
gotta
saying.
understand that. That's probably what it was, because he ain't just leave for no reason. I'm telling you, it had to be a nice chunk of change. It's 2023 now. After that fucking Deshaun Watson shit, everybody is demanding more pay.
Right.
Especially after Kyler Murray took that stand, everybody is demanding more pay.
And that's what I mean.
Even with Baker Mayfield, that's why he refused to go out for us,
Off
because they was
those.
underpaying it. And that's probably, I see what that was. The Dolphins ain't have really a lot of good players and this, and they probably invested in that. And when they did that, they had a young quarterback still. A young, good quarterback. They had a okay receiver. They put another star on that team. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It was a win-win for them.
I bet you that's Miami's goal. We got a man that we know we can count on now. We got a young quarterback. We get them on the connection and they build that rapport. We pull a couple other young guys, you know, to learn from you and fall under your leadership. You know, in 5 years' time, as you're, you know, getting to the point where you're like, I don't know, then we make a run. We gonna catch 2 rings for you before you leave. Appreciate the hard work, you know what I'm saying? But off of that Kansas City resume, the stats he's got in Kansas City, I bet you those motherfuckers offered him twice as much as he was making in Kansas City, and you get to live in Miami. So now you down in Miami with all the bad bitches, the good food, and the beautiful weather, making twice as much as you were to be the main to be the main motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, who else Miami got? Who else? When you say Miami
Hold on,
Dolphins, I bet you 90% of
hold on. They
motherfuckers
get
like
no,
Kyrie.
hold on. They hold on. They got 2 other people, and they got a nice tight end. They other receiver on the left side
Oh,
is Waddle. Waddle. Oh no, yeah.
they got a nice tight end down there, bro.
That's
Got a
cheese.
nice little O ring. Nice little O ring. But no, the other guy on the other side, he ain't bad neither. Waddle, he's nice. He's nice. So it's like both of the receivers is good.
Right.
Then you know what I mean, you got your tight end, you know what I mean, the old road winger. But no, they got a nice tight end too. And their quarterback is young, like 2 young. They could he did it smart. He went
Yeah.
somewhere else that he can get build and work on it and got progress.
Right. To make a move for bordering on, I would assume, a nice step up pay wise,
Yeah.
and to where you're the name motherfuckers think about when you say Miami, because you're that guy and you're carrying the weight. Dude, now you're the center. You're the main focus, making more money in a fucking, you know what I'm saying, in a house in Miami. That's a
You're the
big
shit,
dub
man.
life-wise. Maybe career-wise in the long run, it might not pay off for him. Like, oh, what? I don't make the Hall of Fame? I don't need to make the Hall of Fame. I made millions and I'm in Miami at 30. You know what I'm saying? Living my best life. Like the Hall of Fame would be
Most
nice, and the stats are
most
amazing.
players don't get into the Hall of Fame until they then retire. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
Second year. So you know what I mean? Hall of Fame ain't even worried right now. He just trying to get his stats.
Well, yeah,
And
I
he
mean
got
in the
it.
long run, but like that's what I'm saying. The stats in Kansas City, boy, you do that for 10 years, you can't not make Hall of. You know what I'm saying? Like he was big time in fucking Kansas City. He was the man in the end zone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what people notice. But you know what I'm saying? His end zone appearances went down, but his receptions went up, and so did his yardage. So he kind of speaks for himself. He fucking hitting his stride and doing what he does. You know what
I respect it.
I mean?
Shit. Hold on.
Go ahead.
I just caught wind. How do y'all feel about this? So, speaking of sports, Brittany Griner, you know, everybody's familiar with her, the WNBA
WNBA, yeah.
for the Phoenix Suns, I think.
I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
the Phoenix
Yeah,
something.
yeah, Phoenix Suns. That's what
Ain't the Phoenix Suns like the
I think
NBA
that's the
team?
men's. I was about to say. I
They
don't know
have a
what the
men's
female
and a women's.
Phoenix something. Anyways,
I'll Google that shit right now.
last
But anyway,
last reporting, she was incarcerated in Russian prisons for trying to bring for getting caught at the airline with cannabis oil cartridge, and they was trying to sanction her or give her prison time for up to 9 years for just this one cartridge. And the United States wasn't okay with it, so they was like, you know what I mean, that's not, you know what I mean, that's a real harsh punishment.
right.
So, anyways, long story short, Russia posed a deal that we trade top secret gun smuggler hacker for this woman, wonderful basketball player of ours. And that's but after they did that and okay that, we have what was his name? I can't remember his name, but he was a Marine.
Paul
Fought for our
Whaley.
country. Yeah. He fought for our country. He's in the same predicament. He's held in Russia prison for, you know what I mean, basically doing what he does. You know what I mean? Alliance going over there helping, getting information, and you know what I mean?
Right.
Anyways, he's still stuck over there. It was part of the deal that he was supposed to get got, but they're not pressed on that. They don't even tell people that he's away, you know what I mean, or what happened. Like, but they were
Right.
so pressed about this women's basketball player. How do y'all feel about that? That your government cherish more about a celebrity and her statuses, vice versa to somebody that fights for your freedom or country. How do y'all feel about that?
Personally, I read a little bit about it and stuff, and I don't think a Marine. I saw that they said he had like a flash drive or something with top secret info on it or whatever. But who knows that that's facts? Like if I grabbed you in Russia and you were American, I'd say you had crack in your asshole if I wanted to hold you. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we don't know that that's actual fact, but that regardless, that doesn't even matter because he's a Marine. He's an American
People,
soldier
yeah,
that was over there doing what he's doing.
for us,
There's
it don't
no
matter. He was
reason
trained.
there's no reason that they shouldn't do the talking to get them both out. Why do we got to
Fact.
choose one? And it might be, controversial or whatnot, but she is a WNBA star. P.S. It's Phoenix Mercury is the team. But
Oh, dang,
she's a WNBA star. She's a woman, and she's also African American. So if they would have pulled them, if they could only get one, if that's the rule, and they would have pulled the white male, not to be a dick
yeah.
or not, but they would have been crucified. Like, why'd you leave her? You know what I'm saying? So if they had to pick one for, when the cameras are in their faces, we gonna take her.
But still though, why didn't they inform us about our Marine soldier or our
Well,
anything
yeah,
that happened. He fought for our country. Like, you don't understand. You don't just wake up one day and just like, "All right, you're a Marine, you're going to go to fight for our country." He
right.
put in time and work, and he done probably been through some shit. And for him to get treated like that, people
The
that
way
he
that I
fought
feel about
for,
it is this man fought for our country, and and I understand the whole race situation. It's very sensitive in the country right now. I mean, everybody's super sensitive right now. You got to watch
Right.
what you say. I mean,
Will, shut up.
it's ridiculous, but this man served for his country, blood, tears.
Sweat and tears.
Probably watched his brothers die right in front of him, and got caught up on some shit. And while he was in Russia, probably doing a mission that he was told to do, and
Exactly.
he was supposed to be part of the deal. Like he was supposed to be included with Brittany Griner to get this. The dude's a criminal in my eyes. The dude's crazy. He knows how to get a hold of weapons that can destroy whole countries. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they traded a female basketball star. I mean, she's been she's also on the Olympic women's team for
She's an
you know.
American citizen, so yes, we wanted to get her. And you know what I mean? That's not the problem. But the problem is, how do you pick one over the other?
Well, they were
Like, that
supposed to
was
get
like their
built, so
main,
why
but still,
why did they
that was their
award
main
her that?
priority, though. Didn't nobody even know about him until this deal was brought up, though. You feel what I'm saying? We should have been trying to fight for him to come home before even Brittany Griner got in there. They didn't say nothing about that.
To be fair, also, like when it comes to politics and the people in charge, it's all about appearance. You know what I'm saying? We can't look bad. We can't look bad. A woman from the
True.
WNBA
True.
team is in the spotlight. Everybody knows she's missing. That military man, when you sign up for the military, in their eyes, you are expendable. So if we have to get one, it's gonna be the woman in the spotlight that makes us look good, like we saved her, and we can brush that expendable man under the rug. Is probably how they thought about it. And then the reason you don't know nothing about him and didn't hear nothing about him, because he's military, he's expendable. Hey, news, don't run that. Don't run that.
But are you okay with
Hell no. Hell no.
Yeah,
what the government is doing?
well,
Hold on, hold on.
I
That's
will
the
never
main
be.
topic. Are you okay with the government doing what he did and choosing to put all the priorities into a celebrity, vice versa to somebody that put his all on the line for our country?
And in my,
That's,
what's up, Chris?
go ahead.
In my personal opinion, if you are a news source, supposed to be a reputable news source, spreading the news to the American public and getting the word out there about things that you feel they need to know about, if anybody in Congress or politics can say, hey, don't, and you'll bend a knee, hang it the fuck up. You don't get to relay the news to anybody if a motherfucker can slide 1,000 in your back pocket and you'll not talk about that. You're no longer news. You're no longer fucking relevant. You shouldn't be acting like I'm out here giving you the facts. No, you're out here talking about the shit you weren't paid to not talk about. You know what I mean? Like, so there could be
Exactly.
5 stories and a motherfucker be like, well, we don't want, this oil tycoon doesn't want you to know that his 21-year-old son touched a child. We gonna grease the palms of whatever news source and then we ain't gonna talk about that. No, if that's the case, hang it up. Hang it up. You shouldn't be reporting on the news if you can be bought.
Or about how, listen, before the war started, do anybody remember what happened when Joe Biden got into office? The first major downfall of his election that he did when he got into office. Do anybody know that?
Yeah, I remember he made all the Marines sleep inside of buildings, and then he apparently, like, he told them that they couldn't sleep inside these buildings or something. I'm not too read up on what exactly happened. I just read bits and parts of it.
Right. I mean, I know the like
It's
scandals of the, voting and shit like that. But what are we talking about?
No, before and all of that, the first thing he did when he got elected was stop fracking. He
Facts.
stopped fracking in the United States because he didn't want to, you know what I mean? He didn't want to destroy the land. He wanted to go green. Remember?
Right.
Shortly after that is a war in Ukraine. We have to fund all of this money. We're sending all this money for help and aid. No problem. But now that comes from us. That's
Yeah.
more of the technology. On top of we just came through the COVID recession.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So on top of that, all of this money is just getting sent out.
Yeah.
Then Russia is the ones who's antagonizing the war. That's where we was getting our oil from since we stopped fracking.
Right.
Now that we can get oil from there, guess what? And we don't frack in the United States.
Yeah. We're
Oil is
out.
expensive. Yeah,
Yeah.
you feel
We're
what I'm saying? So
outsourcing
now,
for fossil fuels that we're sitting on top of. Like, and imagine when you shut down the fracking, how many motherfuckers lost their job?
lost
How many
jobs,
pads
everything.
closed? So now
Exactly.
thousands of American people lose their job and we're outsourcing and
But they
spending
knew
money
that. They
on shit. Like, if you can give 10,000 people jobs and we don't have to rely on anybody, I understand the wanting to go green and needing to save the earth and shit, and I'm all for it. In steps, you need to set up a plan that can actually get you there and do it step by step. You can't just shut it down and watch people struggle. Like, on top of that, so say Oprah was like, everybody gets a Tesla, and threw a Tesla at everybody. Ooh, go green, that's the plan. The
But you
electrical
can't
grid
just
is,
throw a you can't
yeah,
just throw a Tesla on everybody because
but
it costs. So you
yeah,
can't just
but
give everybody electrical cars.
also the electrical grid is so old and in like hasn't been properly upkept or anything done with it. We couldn't even, the power grid couldn't even maintain if everybody went home and plugged in their car. You
That's
know what I'm
all
saying?
the plan of killing democracy. You take away gas, don't give gas, and make it expensive for people who got money to only afford it. Or the people with money switch over to electricity like they supposed to. But who has $40,000 to get an electrical car? Nobody, not everybody, which puts everybody to be on public transportation. Once again, you're taking a right from everybody. You're forcing minorities and cultures to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
It's all in a plan. Like people ain't seeing it neither. Like it's just
Yeah.
people are blind
And
and they're just doing whatever they want to do in front of us. And
I've said it before, and some people disagree with me and shit, and don't like take it out of context. I'm not saying, there's struggles that certain ethnicities and whatnot don't face simply because of their ethnicity or the color of their skin or shit. I'm not disavowing any of that. I'm just saying when it comes to those high ups and shit, it's not a color thing. It's
no,
a
it's not.
class thing. You broke and you broke, fuck you
Right.
both. Don't matter what color your
And
skin is. It's not
you don't know
about,
nobody
you know what I'm
around
saying?
here. You're not
And yeah,
higher up. You're not.
so I'm
Basically, like I
not,
said, they're trying to take our rights and shit away from us slowly. It started with the gun rights and all the violence.
right.
They're
And then
starting
they're
to take
trying
that
to,
shit.
it's, yeah, and like, so I'm not saying, as, what's up? Oh, my bad. I thought something was echoing. I'm not saying as a person, of a different color that you don't face things that I ain't had to deal with being born a fucking white dude or nothing like that. But when it comes to the higher ups and making money and fucking, like all the politics and shit, it don't matter what color you are. If you ain't in a specific
Right.
tax bracket, you don't matter to us. If you
That
poor, you poor. Black,
is
white, fucking Mexican, it don't
financial
matter.
class
Poor is
is
poor.
rich against
You know what
poor,
I'm
and
saying?
that's what it's getting
Exactly.
to. It's not going to be racist no more. It's not going to be racist. What it is going to
It's,
be rich against the poor. The
it's
rich is
fucking,
all going to get into a class.
it's
The poor ain't
classism
going to
or
be able to get up out of it. It's going to be put into a communist. I think it is. That's what it is. Uh, what is it? Community where the government owns everything. You get put into a class and you can't get out of it. Like so, if you're poor, you can't.
Oh, that's called the Hunger Games.
Like
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just like that. But the communists,
Right.
no, communists is what the United States is. Communist community because we profit.
Right. Fucking
I can't remember what it is, but that's where it's getting to. The higher ups is trying to be in control of everything. Have
A
us depend.
dictatorship.
It's gonna be yeah,
yeah.
dictatorship. Pretty
You know,
much
on some
that's what it's gonna
Castro
be.
shit.
Monarchy. Everybody's gonna rebel, and it's gonna be an all-out war against ourselves.
Well, that's what like the intentions. Like people are like, oh, they wouldn't do that. America's just bad. This and that. Like, but they're pitting. They're fucking pitting. You know what I'm saying? Black against white. You know, rich against poor. Because if you all are fighting amongst yourself, it's not going to register that if you stood together, they don't have a chance. You know what I'm saying?
They
So
know that.
we gonna rile people up and be like, oh, the white man this or oh this and that. They hate you, and so everybody's clashing, so that it doesn't cross our mind because we're so mad about some petty shit that they were pushing that we don't realize that if we all just said, hey, wait, you're
But
fucking
they
shitting on
riling us
all of
up too,
us.
huh? Because they riling us up too. Like you got to peak. Okay, so now it's to the point where it's really counting. Because I said we was just electing Congress and state senates and
Facts.
shit like that. So people are starting to get aware. So you know what I mean. They're encouraging people to vote, go out. You know what I mean. And didn't Donald Trump allow felons to be able to vote and stuff like that? So, anyways,
I'm not 100%
this
sure.
is what they're this is what they're doing. They're basically like the parent. They're putting all of these restrictions and sanctions and blah 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 apply, and everybody's rebelling. Oh, we not gonna do this. 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 And that. But at the end of the day, they're still pushing shit and getting shit done because we're not paying attention. You understand what I'm saying? They only
Right.
tell us certain shit that they want us to focus on, like the news. They only tell us certain things or certain shit that they want us to know.
Right.
Anything that's important or like live documents and all of that, we can't see. We don't get to see none of that. They block us from that.
Mm-hmm.
Dude,
You understand what I'm saying?
it's like we're all fucking 7-year-olds at the homie down the block's
Exactly.
birthday party and they brought in a magician. It's just your fucking
Exactly.
basic misdirection. Oh, look what's going on over there. Well, I grease the palms of the big
Exactly.
fucking oil company. You know what I'm saying? Like,
People don't
that's all it
understand the
is,
law.
oh,
And
look
the
at this
law
hand. There's a quarter behind your ear type shit. Like, it was in that hand the whole
it's
time.
all fucked up.
Facts.
The president don't make no laws, can't do none of that other shit. All the president is supposed to do is to make sure it's fair governor between all of the states and make sure we're not beefing and none of the confrontation and to enforce the laws above of all. Under
Right.
him, executive, the people who enforce it, police, military, all of them, all their job is to do is enforce the law. Nothing more, nothing less. People under that, judicial, legislation, and the other branch, the House of Representatives, is
Right.
what makes the law and voted in.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? And it got to get passed through all of them for it to be approved. And majority of the group have to go with it before it gets passed.
Right. Right.
Most of those laws or shit that they passing or going over, it's don't even get talked about. We don't even know about. It's only the main ones, the like main ones, like the last one, uh abortion, abortion. Like, why are y'all really trying to change the laws of abortion? Like now y'all trying to control the population. You feel what I'm saying? Now they
And
trying to
then,
tell them, oh yeah, you can't have this kid. You're not
and
going to
then
have this kid. We're gonna kill
yeah,
him.
on top of it, like, oh, you know, we'd have a slight hold on the population and whatnot like that. It's also trying to get their foot in the door. Are we gonna tell you what you can do with your life and your body? Like
Hell yeah.
if
You start
if the
reproducing.
people allow this, then we can take another step. You know what I'm saying?
If we
It's
could
just like
stop
that common
reproducing.
shit. We say, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, motherfuckers rebel. Hey, don't be telling us what to do. But if you try and slide it in with a slick little law that barely crosses the boundaries, that's what they do.
Yeah.
Is you give an inch, they'll take a mile. They inch their
Fact.
way in and rile people up, and in 6 months
Mm-hmm.
when people are like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, well they stopped inching their way in, so and then they take another inch, and then people get riled up, but they don't go far enough for people to snap and
But they
wild
don't
out. So
understand.
then,
They don't give a lot of information on what it is.
right,
They don't tell everything because that news is false. Like, example, I don't mean to cut us off or cut you off or be disrespectful. A couple of years, example, perfect example. Ohio was trying to pass the marijuana license to for recreational use. Well, no, before it was even medical use, they was trying to get it to where they can pass it for medical uses.
I remember that.
Everybody was like, oh, vote yes on issue, yeah, vote yes on issue two. But listen, everybody was voting yes on issue two, but didn't understand that, yeah, it was legalizing and this, but it's still restricted and it wasn't going to get done. You see what I'm saying? They thought that they were voting for something to get done because they was getting told that. They didn't do their homework, and we didn't get the medical use marijuana that year because of that. Everybody voted yes and ended up voting against it instead of with it. You see what I'm saying? So it was like, yeah, that really opened up a lot of people's eyes too. Like, yeah, you gotta pay attention. You can't just do what a motherfucker tell you to do. You gotta understand what you're going to go put your word down for.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what they do is like I was saying, you give an inch, they take a mile. They'll cross the boundaries and people get riled up and then they'll stop moving forward. And then after a little while,
Yeah.
people
They gonna rebel.
leave it alone because they stop moving forward, and then once it calms down, they move another inch and people start to wild out and they don't go far enough for people to snap, and then they stop moving forward. So people, after a few months, they're like, okay, they stop. And then they do that a few times and people don't realize. You think, oh, well, when we start to get loud, they stop, but they never backed off. So all those inches they took, just so you start to wild out, and then they slow up and be like, oh, our bad, they never backed off. So now they're in a foot and a half, you know what I'm saying? And they
Yeah.
got you by the motherfucking throat.
But that's the people, and that's why we have the government and why we are in the predicament we are in. Everybody don't have the same respect and the same encourage, like, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Integrity that you're supposed to have. Because everybody knows the right way to live and how you're supposed to live without chaotic and all that. But you got that one person, well, this, and that, and it's always the fuck up, bro. And that's what it is. Like, it just, I don't fucking know how to explain it. It's just sad that you will have a sign at a restaurant says free burgers. You know what I mean? Everybody get free burgers, but then you got a sign that under it says you must wait in line, you must be respectful to everybody. You know what I mean? The whole bullshit. You can't bring this and a party. Guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna do everything you said not to do and find an excuse not to do it. Oh, we said not to bring phones and take pictures. We don't want everybody to know. Oh, well, shit, I didn't bring it. My buddy over there is recording me in line, so it's good. You know what I mean? That's the problem with people. They take, like you said, you give them an inch, they take them out.
Yeah. And then on top of it, oh, well, we said not to record. Here you are recording, so guess what? Don't nobody get no free burgers anymore. You fucked it up. We asked you to not. You did it anyway.
And then there's a problem. Now it's a riot.
Right.
Now it's a riot. Because now
said
that you're
free burgers,
you told us we getting free burgers. No, fuck that. We getting our free burgers. You know what I'm saying? People is crazy, bro. And that's what it is, bro. Like, people are blind, and a lot of us don't know. I've had people
like get offended when I say fucking people are stupid. And they'll be like, what? I'm not stupid. I'm not saying you're stupid. I'm not saying Chris is stupid. I'm not saying I'm stupid. But people as a whole, in mass, in a collective, are fucking bordering on dysfunctional. Like, you know what I'm
Mouth
saying?
breather.
You get a pack of 1,000 motherfuckers, and one of them says, that guy's racist. Now you got a mob of 200 people stomping his fucking ass, no questions asked. You know what I'm saying? On the one liar that was in your 1,000-man pack, like people in mass are fucking
It's
like
American.
border
It's
on having
American,
that.
and
Like,
that's how you separate. It's not race no more. I don't call, oh, you're white, you're this, you're
facts.
Mexican, or you're gay, or you know what I mean, or none of that. I don't see it like that. It's literally ignorance and intelligence.
Right. And then that's like
Point, period, blank.
that brings up the situation with like the trans community and shit. Like, oh, I'm she, her, you're they, them, or whatever. And people are like, oh, like you're transphobic if you don't call me they, them, or you don't call me she, her. How about I'm Travis? What's your name? Rebecca?
Fact.
Hi, Rebecca. Like, why the fuck I gotta they, them you? Why I gotta she, her,
Right.
anybody? What's your name? We'll go with that. Like, why is it gotta be a
Point, period,
disrespect
blank.
thing? Like, and it's not that I wouldn't call somebody, you know, who's like, oh, I'm she, her, blah, blah. I would just be like, what's your name? Oh, your name's Rebecca? Hi, Rebecca. Oh, yeah, Rebecca over there, or Rebecca wants this, or needs that. Like, I wouldn't blatantly disrespect somebody, but at the same time, to be like, hey, you have to say what I told you have to say, or you're fucking mean. Guess what? I'm fucking
But they're
mean.
so
Like,
blind. Like it don't.
it's just
Everybody is so
wild.
blind and deaf. Americans are blind and deaf because they'll rather worry about that and argue and fight about that, about what I'm identified as. Him disrespecting me because I don't feel he, you know what I mean? This, or it. Yes, that's important. I'm not saying that it's not important. That needs to be addressed and handled as well. But they don't tell us the real shit that's going on.
Yep, that's
The
what
fuck?
we're
Like they don't tell us that we was about to go to war and we was about to get nuked. They
that's
don't tell us that.
that misdirection we were talking about. It's like on the news, a university teacher wouldn't call his student by they them when they asked to, and they throw this whole hoopla about the they them while we're leaving the Marine in Russia. You know what I'm saying?
But
Like,
7 fucking meat shops or meat distributions, main meat distributions for the United States, then burnt down and
right.
didn't say nothing about it. And they talking about why is a meat shortage and steak going up $40 a fucking ounce.
Well, you know
You
what
feel what
that
I'm
is?
saying?
All it is the end goal. It's all a
Profit.
decision made by the government. What it
Profit.
is with Black Power or the what
Black
was
Lives Matter.
the movement that
Black
they just
Lives Matter.
Black
yeah,
Lives
Black
Matter.
Black
Lives
Lives
Matter.
Matter.
So they did that movement. That wasn't yes, it had people behind it that thought that it stood for something else, but in the end run, it's all a goal to
Profit.
separate mass.
Profit.
If you separate the mass, there is no strength at all.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
If I'm fighting
So
Facts.
with you and you're fighting with him, we don't realize that all three of us could beat the fuck out of that motherfucker saying we
Exactly.
should fight.
Exactly. We can't stand together and we're not standing together. They're
it's all
breaking us apart.
puppetry machines, man. That's all it is. It's all
Facts.
puppetry.
Facts. And that's all because they want to control.
That's like
They want to have control.
there's video
You
of
break us
like
up.
when people stormed what was it, the building in D.C.
The White House.
They stormed the Capitol building or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, the White House.
Yeah, well, they stormed, and you're like, oh my God, those people are wilding out. Trump did it and shit. Trump did it, and I'm not taking either side or anything. But you can find videos on YouTube of the security guards that were supposed to be out front of the Capitol building, you know, calming people down and
Yeah.
doing their best, fucking waving people on, come on, and running with the crowd, and fucking,
Because what you gonna
funneling
do
them
is,
into the door and shit.
is a
Like,
whole bunch of civilians. You know what I
yeah,
mean? They just following the leader. You know how it is with civilians, and none of them could just shoot them because they're innocent civilians.
yeah, but
It's that they didn't. Yeah, they broke into the building, but the building had access to the public. So what they were doing wasn't like technically illegal for them to get killed.
well, no, that's what
So
I'm
they
saying.
couldn't.
They're saying, oh, you shouldn't, you know, that was out of line and it was fucking bordering on illegal, even though it's a public space.
Yeah.
And the security that's outside that should have been like, whoa, you guys can't come in here in mass like that, was telling the people behind the guardrail, come on, the door's this way, you know what I'm saying? Come on.
Because it was a
And
hoax.
leading packs in there and then being like, they just ran in there wild, bro. It was all
It
a
was a hoax.
scheme to fucking make it look like Trump's out here wilding out and fucking telling people to be violent when
It was a
somebody
hoax.
said, yeah, somebody told those security guards, hey, Trump told him to come down here, get him in there so it looks worse than it is.
Bro, the president wasn't there. They didn't get to the president or nothing. If it was a real breach, like when they was trying to do go to Area 51,
Right.
that shit would have never fucking happened. That shit was a fucking hoax, and it's all publicity for attention and money. Everything's for money. I'm telling y'all that. Like
And
people are blind about
the news ran that shit. Oh, they're gonna storm Area 51, and all kinds of news networks showed up while dirty
everybody
shit was going on
watching
behind
it,
the scenes
everybody
that we ain't
reposting
showing.
it,
You know damn
everybody
right.
doing this about it.
You
They
know damn
started
right.
groups, all types of shit.
If a thousand motherfuckers showed up at Area 51, like we're gonna go in, every one of you would be mowed down with fucking automatic
Facts.
weapons. Not even
Facts.
a problem. But the
Facts.
news is covering it like it's some big deal because there's some dirtball shit going on behind the scenes, and we're trying to divert your eyes. Look at people storming Area 51. They stood outside and fucking raved with glow sticks. Wasn't storming nothing. It was a fucking shindig. Like,
That's what I'm saying. Shit's a hoax, bro. It be a hoax. And that's what's crazy. They would rather glorify and stuff like that than to tell us the real problems, what's going on.
facts.
Well,
What's
going
really
off
going
that
on.
one thing that you guys were just talking about, do you guys believe in the aliens, man?
Hell yeah, I do.
Yeah, I know it sounds like fucking cliche and whatnot, but the universe is so big, there's gotta be something out there. Whether
Exactly.
it's just whether it's single cell microbes on fucking Saturn's moons, you know what I'm saying, or some wild shit, there's something out there alive. It might not be to the point where it could fucking communicate with us on some sign language tip,
No,
but
it
there's
is.
something out there alive. There's some fucking wild three-eyed cats out there on the moon somewhere.
I'm a weirdo. I watch Ancient Aliens, and people can say, "Oh, that's some bullshit." This. Okay, yeah, you're right. It might be some bullshit and hyped up, but I do my homework and research about it. And some of the shit they say add up. You gotta think. 18 million fucking years ago, before motherfuckers was even roaming this world, how did two motherfuckers just pop out of nowhere from trees or dust or none of that? Okay, anyways, you got two people. How did that animal think or look into a puddle of water and be like, oh, I'm an animal or I'm a human?
And then you telling me those two people on the entire planet ran into each other and mashed their genitals together? You know what I'm saying? The first two people
Out of
ever. Can
nowhere,
I put this in there?
they
Get the fuck
out of nowhere, they fucking took two rocks and knew to spark it. And what
Right.
two rocks to click together to make a fire.
Dude, I love the first few seasons of Ancient Aliens, dude. I was hooked. And then when like the fifth season or something came out, it was just repetitive. They were going to the
Yeah.
same places that they'd already talked about in the one episode in depth. And now, we talked about this place in depth on multiple episodes. And now this episode in season 5 is specifically on Machu Picchu. And this one's specifically on the fucking headstones or whatever of Easter Island. And we'd already been to those places because they jumped around in the first season and told us all about them. Now you're just reiterating in a longer episode the same shit you've already told us, and I just kind of fell off of it because it was repetitive. But
Yeah,
I was
feel you,
watching
but-
something, and they said the stones how they cut
Perfect.
for the pyramids and how they cut
Yeah.
perfectly structured shit into rocks and shit. This one dude was talking about it, and he's like, I believe that they had big basically tuning forks, and they could
Yeah.
get them to vibrate that made a frequency so fucking out of, and then it showed this big ass rock, I can't remember where it was, that was just straight split. Boom. Beautiful line straight up at rocks fucking
Hell yeah.
80,000 tons and shit. It split right up the middle beautifully. And like, you don't think about it like that, but sound, the opera bitch can fucking hit her voice and shatter a glass. Why could you not get a frequency to resonate at such a crazy vibration level that it split that rock? You know what I'm saying?
Still though,
There's
who
puzzle
taught
pieces that
them
they
that? Like,
connect, you know what I'm
who
saying?
taught them that? Like, that's what I'm saying. You don't
Aliens.
just wake up one day and just be like, "Oh, I'm gonna learn." You know what I mean? Or I'm gonna try this. You don't. You don't do that. The
Let me
gear
cut this rock.
system. You don't
Let me
just.
let me let me cut this rock with sound real quick, boy. I'll be right back.
Who knew to put a gear to lift different shit with rope and a gear? You know what I mean?
Right.
To lift heavy
Yep.
shit. Who would have thought that? They was putting shit on their back. They didn't know that. And a lot of things that I see similar, people tie our visiting with aliens to religion. I really
Right.
think that's where they believe in of God because it's like it makes sense more of how these people told this story.
Right.
Because how would they just wake up and have this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They have to see some shit, and if they seen this type of shit, it will only be from extraterrestrials.
What's some of the craziest shit I've ever seen? Like, are you guys like religious, like, Jesus, the Bible?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um, have you ever watched Zeitgeist?
I have not.
Like guys,
I'm telling you, look that shit up on YouTube. I'm not sure exactly how to spell it, like Zeitgu, Zeitgeist, like poltergeist, but Zeit, like
yeah.
Zeit, Zeitgeist. I'm telling you, the introduction is talking religion, and I'm telling this motherfucker breaks it down on a level that is wild. It's like, Jesus was called, the Son, the Holy One, the light or whatever. And then it's like so and so was called the Sun, the Holy One, like a Nordic
Yeah,
god, an Egyptian god was called the light, the lamb. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
everything that describes Jesus
Was the universe.
has been used
It
to
was the universe.
describe gods before him in Egyptian, ideologies and Nordic ideologies and everything from the virgin being Mary. Oh, Mary had Ra, which was an Egyptian. You know what I'm saying? Like all of it correlates. It's like, oh, these 4 books, people follow it like a religion. I'm gonna take this and this and this and this and that,
Yeah.
and we have Jesus, and like it. I'm not saying I'm not religious, you know what I'm saying? I believe there's a higher power out there. I just ain't done enough research in my life to fucking claim it's anybody's God. There's so many out there saying our God is God. I couldn't tell you who's right. I believe there's a higher power out there on another level that I can't comprehend, and I ain't seen enough to fucking choose a side. But some of that shit, the coincidences and the crossovers and shit are they're so dead on. It's
It's
like I
real.
took the motherfucking
Aliens
Quran
are
and
real.
wrote Jesus, where fucking Jesse. It was Jesse in this story. I'm gonna call him Jesus. Like it's crazy, and it's like
It's
I
all
don't.
just like the King James. It's just a translation, and uh, I forget the actual name for the actual Bible, but it's just all translation. So like,
The
but
Bible was it's called the basic instructions before leaving Earth, and the Bible was written from the Ten Commandments, and then after the Ten Commandments, it was just basically like it was story told. The Bible was written over ancient stories told over time to keep people like basically the Romans started it. The Romans started to believe. Well, no, it started from Hindu, and it was like they progressed and they stopped believing it, and then the Romans took it and made it their own. And it was when it first was created, when Christianity was first created, it was like you gotta be Christian, you gotta believe this. You know what I mean? It was forced upon you, or you was killed. You know what I
Right.
mean? It wasn't no ifs ands or buts about it. You was Christian or not, and then it just became later down the line where you know what I mean you can choose to be Christian after so long, but Christianity was made up.
I think
Some of the points is it goes back to like their encounters, I think, but still that's it
I
is a
think
story.
I think somewhere down the line, as we get, you know, a little bit better with this and feel a little more comfortable and shit like that, I think we should have, like, I believe the Zeitgeist movie, that you two would find that shit crazy. Like, there would be so much we could talk about to watch 5 minutes, discuss it, watch 5 minutes, discuss it. You know what I'm saying? And I could pull it up right here in a fourth window and we could fucking watch that bitch live and have a discussion about it. You know what I'm saying? I think we should pull shit like that eventually, you know, down the road. And, you know, if like you see something and you're like, yo, Travis and Mel would fucking have some shit to say about this, throw it in the, you know what I'm saying? Throw it in the chat and fucking and figure it out. I think we should do a little bit of everything. You know what I mean? And just try and fucking get it popping, like realistically.
Big facts. Big facts.
My last thing on the aliens, I swear, last thing. I feel the aliens is preparing us to get us ready and like technology ready to build nuclear energy and strong nuclear energy to support their ships, and that's what they're using us for.
We a farm planet
And
over
after
here?
we can, and after we can support what they need to survive, still the
We're
ones
gone.
that is, that's what I'm saying. The ones that's intelligent and was able to, you know what I mean, withstand life, still stay. And
Yeah.
the ones that can't or die
Because like on
after they
the,
drain up everything. After you got to think after water is gone off this planet, there will
yeah.
be no more life.
And I think
With
like
no water,
they say on a lot of the ancient alien shits and stuff like that, like conversations that are in that realm roughly, they that, you know, all the higher ups and the big queens and the people that were revered as gods back in that day wanted gold, like gold. So they were mining for gold to make things and make idols that represented those people that they revered as gods. And they're like, is gold a, you know, a finite resource out there? And they found a fucking trove of it here that they use for something we don't comprehend yet. You know, so they came down and people are like, oh my God, you're a god. And they're like, bring me gold. And, you know, whether it be fuel for their ships or, you know, whether it be this or that, or like we use copper for piping and, you know, like motherboards and shit
conducting
because it's a good
electricity.
electrical conductor. Maybe they're on another level and maybe gold fucking runs sound frequency better than anything, you know, or some wild shit. Like, I don't know. Like, there's crazy
The
fucking thoughts out
UFO,
there that leave a motherfucker
the
going,
UFO, they recovered in Roswell, the first encounter with aliens or extraterrestrial, whatever it's. When they went into the UFO, they explained it. It says it in documents and everything. They said they seen six shadow, like human body figures, skinny, big head type of deal. They explained the type of figures that they seen, and they said whenever they was looking around inside the craft, the spacecraft, it was like technology they never seen before. It said they was describing it to be at least like 30 years advanced of what they had, and this was like what 80 something. This was back in like 19 something. Like you know what I
yeah,
mean?
late
Like,
70s, early
so
80s.
yeah, so they didn't even really have too much technology. So
Yeah.
for them to say some shit like that, it had to be off the chains,
I
and it's probably
remember
still beating.
I remember him saying like there was a piece of metal that was like equivalent to aluminum foil, like thin, and they crumbled it
Yeah,
up, and when they let go, it flattened right back out, not a fucking crease in it. But then also, you got to understand, nobody comprehended that technology would make leaps and bounds like it has in the last 30 years. For so them in that time to say, we won't have that technology for 30 years. Realistically, we fucking banged that shit out in 10, you know what I mean? They just couldn't see us making those leaps that, like, imagine growing up in the 90s. I did to be like, yo, everybody's gonna have a fucking smartphone in their pocket, snapping pictures, taking videos. I would have told you it was full of shit. Everyone's gonna have a computer in their pocket and it'll be affordable. You crazy. That's fucking 40 years out. Realistically, it was about
yeah.
six. You know what
Growing
I'm
up,
saying? Like,
like me, growing up, the internet, we didn't really use internet. People that
mhm.
had internet at their house, you didn't go to people's house. But, oh, what's your Wi-Fi?
I'm on the phone.
Yeah, no, nowadays that's what it is.
Yeah, I was fucking eating dirt. That's what I did for fun. Puffing glue and eating dirt, baby. Let's go. I was
Well,
fucking kid.
going back to the UFOs that you was talking about. Um, you guys want to hear a story about how Men in Black came to be?
Let's hear it. Let's hear it. We'll
Well,
fucking close it on Men in Black. Let's go.
this happened June 27th, 1947. A man named Harold Dahl and his boy in it he had a dog with him. They was out on the boat. You know what I mean? So picture this: you just chilling out on the boat with your son and the dog, fishing, having a good old day. It's beautiful outside. Next thing
You
you know,
just see something.
you look up about 100 meters in the air, and there's six UFOs, six flying donut shaped
Six of them.
things. You know what I mean?
How drunk
So
was this man? He on the boat with the son and the dog. You know that motherfucker tore up. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
so he's on a conservative mission on somewhere called the Puget Sound. It's near Eastern Shores on Murray Island. I have no clue where that is, but anyway, one of these things fell 1,500 feet out the air, bro.
Oh shit.
Landed on landed on his son and the dog, killed him instantly. Dude had to swim back to shore. Got in his car, drove straight to his job, informed his supervisor. Him and his supervisor, because like dude was frantic, freaking out. So,
Yeah.
long story, they ended up forming a little group with them and all their people and their higher ups, and they they started this thing where they were going out looking for information on if people seen aliens or not. Like, have you guys seen spacecraft, any UFOs? Have y'all seen any weird sightings
Right.
going on here? And yeah, man,
And
that was
when
the
you
first.
said what year was this? You said.
It was 1947, bro.
So
Early in the
listen, if
year,
you
too.
1947, if you own a boat, bro, a boat that ain't even got like probably a motor yet, you probably paddled that
It
motherfucker out
should
on the
just been
lake, right?
a personal thing, man.
Hold on. So
There's
you see something in the sky like that, bro? I'm freaking out.
Word, they
I'm
said
freaking
dude was
out.
fucking paranoid. That's the only reason why the supervisor believed him. Because dude, any other time, dude was just the average old hardworking man. You know what I mean? He was out on his day off with his son, trying to spend a day with his son and the dog, just fishing out on the lake. It was a beautiful day, and then all of a sudden, I know where you look up, one falls out the air, lands on your son and the dog. They're dead. You no longer have a son or a dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's just crazy.
Yo, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Imagine already freaking out like what the fuck, and then your dog and your son's cookout. That's wild on another level.
Yeah.
But there's three Murray Islands. All of them are in the Great Lakes area, but the one
Mm-hmm.
that I would assume it's most likely to be, one's in Chicago, and there's like this little pond, and you go walk a bridge across the. I doubt it's that. If they're out in a boat chilling like that, hitting the actual island, I would
It
say
was
that
probably
it
Superior,
is
Lake Superior.
right above Toronto, Canada. There's a Murray in the
Lake.
Georgian Bay. There's a Murray Island right outside of Lake Huron. Kind of
Hudson.
Georgian
Right,
Bay
yeah.
is part of Lake Huron right up there, and legit, it's a 7-hour drive. Boy, we could be on Murray Island doing the next fucking podcast. Like, what are we talking about? But there's
I
also
want to go
another
to
one that's to the
Roswell
right of it.
too.
Roswell
I
would
want
be
to go to
fun.
Roswell too.
Shit, I'm down. Listen, I don't know. I honestly like paranormal stuff. So
Yeah.
there
Me
are
too.
haunted places in Wheeling, like extremely
Like
haunted
Moundsville
places.
and shit too. Like,
I would love to go in there and just because
My
with
only
a
thing
pod,
about
it's
paranormal
almost
shit
like
is I don't
ET,
want to catch no like
right,
demonic
So
or no like
you
no
actually
that's
hear people are gonna hear.
right.
Because it's an
yeah.
EVP, you know what I mean? It's like a microphone, so it's gonna pick up extra stuff that we don't hear.
Right.
So I think it'd be a really cool experience. Just
I mean, the best I got traveling wise right now is I can go live on Twitch from my phone when we're all three in the same location. You know what I'm saying? But then also, when you're fucking with the supernatural and shit, the electronics is the first shit to get shit on. You know what I mean? So we can go live, and then if all of a sudden my battery's dead, that's all the proof I
Done.
need. I'm leaving, dog. I ain't
Yeah,
fucking
I ain't
sticking
even
around
like,
to get
yeah,
fucking butt raped by
I
no
would
fucking
have paid no
poltergeist. We ain't
shit.
doing that. Especially in like a
I'm even
Moundsville
getting spooked out right
penitentiary
now. Like,
or
That
something.
reminds me of once too, where Marlon was laying on the bed. I don't know if Marlon's his name, but oh boy was laying on the bed getting pounded by the ghost.
It
I
was,
hate ghosts and shit
what was
like
that
that.
in?
That
I
was
think that was
haunted house. A haunted house.
us too, right?
Yeah,
That was the
there's.
first one.
I watch them. I watch like I love horror movies, dude. So I'll be watching. Like a lot of people say, "Oh, your taste is shit," but I've seen so many horror movies that when
I
I
can
find
predict
one,
what's gonna happen.
yeah, it doesn't matter if it's a B-list shit. I'd rather watch a B-list shit that I can't tell you what's gonna happen next because it's so off the wall than I would watch the new shit at the theaters. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I
Like
can't do
fucking
it.
Hatchet is off the chain, and Hatchet's the type of shit like, oh, take the electric sander, drive it in this bitch's mouth, and then the camera pans to a tree, and it's clear that it's just a 5-gallon bucket of blood splashed off the tree. Like, oh, motherfucker got type shit. But no, yeah, I'm down. I can go live from my phone on Twitch.
Listen,
Can't
I
really
used
have
to
this
like,
whole podcast set up realistically. What's
I
that?
used
I
to
mean, I
like
would
scary
say
movies.
I do.
I used to like scary movies and shit like that. But paranormal, that really fucks with me. Like, I'm really spooked. Like, any sound, like after I start getting older and start getting like in the dope game and getting my door kicked and the police kicking in my door, like I'm real paranoid about certain sounds. So whenever I hear any little creak, all of that, I get tweaked.
Yeah,
You
who's
know what
on the
I'm saying?
porch?
And I'm not,
Yeah,
yeah, and I'm like, yeah, I'm already on the go. And it's like,
Well, we ain't gotta
I
do
don't
something
know.
crazy right out the gate. We can do like little ventures that you know what I mean.
right. Go
Like
in places you're allowed to go in first, get a feel for the shit, and then cartwheel into the Moundsville Penitentiary.
that's not something that you just like. Hey, we're gonna go to the Moundsville Penitentiary. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
Right. I had a delivery up there
Just
actually.
gonna bring a
And
flashlight and some
whenever
condom.
I had a delivery up there, whenever it was before it was during Halloween, and it was like it was in the morning time before the haunted house uh, opened. But somebody door dashed, and I was dropping some food off to it, and I had to go through the gate and shit. I'm like, oh shit! Like it brought memories, and it was like I don't know, it was a different feel for me. Like I didn't feel or see anything, but I knew it was just some shit in that motherfucker. You could just feel it,
Right.
like your whole mindset, like it changes. Like you don't even. I walked in there like 3 feet. It felt like I drove like 5 minutes up the road to go into the,
Right, right.
like, I don't know how to explain it. It just, you could tell it's some weird shit that goes up at that jail. I'm cool.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. But I think on that note, we've had a pretty good run and got a good bit of shit to look at and possibly fucking jot it down and fucking maybe motherfuckers will see it. You know what I'm saying? But you all got anything to say in closing, realistically?
um,
we had a fun time with y'all. Can't wait to have
yeah.
another chat with y'all, see what's going on. You know what I mean? Get back into it.
Holla at you later, boy.
Right. Anybody fucking happen to come across this and see the motherfucker? You know, wherever it's gonna be, comments is always available. Leave one. Drop some knowledge on
Tune
us. Give us
in
something to fucking chat about. You know what I'm saying? Fucking, I don't know. Tell us about
or
that
come
snake
chat
bit
with
your
us.
fucking pecker or whatever. Your mom had to suck the poison out. That don't even work, but you know what I mean. I'm too tired to fucking be coherent. I fucking appreciate whoever showed up. And that's that.
CMT, baby.
Facts.